bina kedoyalu jagata samsare. Patita pavana hetu tava avatara. Mosama patita prabhu na paideya. Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi. Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi. Kripa Balo Kanakoro Ami Borodu. Pati Advaita Gosai. Tava Kripa Bale Pai Chaitanya Nita. Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raguna. Bhatta Juga Shri Jiva Prabhukana. Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Das. Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Das. Narottama Das Thakur ki jai. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
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 Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda.
Welcome everyone to today's Chaitanya Charitamrita class. Today we're reading from the Madhya Lila, chapter 24, entitled The Explanations of the Atma Rama verse. And I'll be reading text number 11, and I'll go through some of the verses because they're quite short, and I'll work my way to one that has a purport. Okay, so here's the Bengali. Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti. Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Buddhi Swabhava E Satra Arta Prapti. Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti. Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti.
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Buddhi Sabha E Sata Artha Prapti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti.
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Mataji's like to chant?
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti. Anyone else? Atma Shabde Brahma Deha Mana Yatna Driti
Buddhi Swabhava E Sata Arta Prapti
Okay, word for word. Atma Shabde.
Atma Shabde
By the word Atma. Brahma. The absolute truth. Deha. The body. Mana. The mind. Yatna. Endeavor. Driti. Firmness. Buddhi. Intelligence. Swabhava. Nature. E Sata. These seven. Arta Prapti. Attainment of meanings. Translation: the 7 different meanings of the word Atma are the absolute truth, the body, the mind, endeavor, firmness, intelligence, and nature. Text 12. The following are synonyms of the word Atma: the body, mind, absolute truth, natural characteristics, firmness, intelligence, and endeavor. Purport: this is a quotation from the Vishva Prakasha Dictionary. Text 13. Translation: the word Atmarama refers to one who enjoys these 7 items, the absolute truth, body, mind, and so on. Later I shall enumerate the Atmaramas. Text 14. My dear Sanatan, first hear the meanings of the other words, beginning with the word Muni. I shall first explain their separate meanings, then combine them. 15. The word Muni refers to one who is thoughtful, who is grave or silent, an ascetic, one who keeps great vows in the renounced order, and a saint. These are the different meanings of the word Muni. Text 16. The word Nirgranta refers to one who is liberated from the material knots of ignorance. It also refers to one who is devoid of all regulative principles enjoined in the Vedic literature. It also refers to one who does not have knowledge. 17. Nirgranta also refers to one who is illiterate, low-born, misbehaved, unregulated, and devoid of respect for the Vedic literature. The word also refers to one who is a capitalist and to one who has no riches. 18. The prefix ni may be used for a sense of ascertainment, gradation, construction, or forbidding. The word granta means riches, thesis, and composition. Purport: this is another quotation from the Vishva Prakasha Dictionary. 19. The word udkrama refers to one whose krama, step, is great. The word krama means throwing the foot forward, that is, stepping. Text 20. Krama also means power, trembling, a systematic method, argument, and a forcible attack by stepping forward. Thus, Vamana caused the 3 worlds to tremble. Purport: Uru means very great, and Krama means step. When Lord Vamanadev was offered 3 steps of land, he expanded his 3 steps by covering the entire universe. In this way, the 3 worlds trembled, and therefore Sri Vamanadev, the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, is referred to as Urukrama. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shriyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Mitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitenam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Nama Om Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Naivo payanti api chitam kavayastavesha Brahma yushapi kritam ridam udasvaranta Yontar bahishtanabhritam ashubhan vidunvan Acharya chaitra vapusha swagatim yanakti. This last verse I quoted is from the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a prayer by Uddhava, and he is explaining to Lord Krishna that even if I was given the lifetime of Lord Brahma, I still wouldn't be able to express my gratitude to you. It's a prayer found in Prabhupada's Shloka book. It's kind of unique, but I've always been able to appreciate that verse because, yeah, even if we're endowed with many, many lifetimes, we still won't be able to glorify Krishna properly. You know, his glories are unlimited. So by the mercy of our illustrious temple president, Damodar Prasad Prabhu. He asked me to speak last night on the Chaitanya Charitamrita, so I'm asking for all of your blessings that I can say something pleasing. Just to give a little background of myself and who I am. I'm from America. We have a temple there in Atlanta, Georgia, called the Krishna Life Project, and we're pretty famous for our book distribution, especially His Grace Mahotsaha Prabhu. He's famous all over the world for distributing lots of sets of Srimad Bhagavatams, and some devotees came from Hungary to visit our temple, and Mahotsaha Prabhu took them to an event and showed them how to distribute, and that day he broke the record again. He did 56 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam to just people who didn't know what the Srimad Bhagavatam is. They had no idea. It's really amazing. So, yeah, we have a very fired up program in Atlanta, and we're trying to create a highway between Europe and America for devotees to come and get training on Sankirtan. And we also have a special affinity for Shiva Ram Maharaj's project in Hungary, New Vrajadam, because we're very expert in our Sankirtan. I mean, you can always improve in your service, but we also want to start developing a farm community. And the devotees at Krishna Volgi have really taken shelter of Prabhupada's instructions in that regard. So, yeah, things are going nicely in Atlanta, but as the project expands, we're realizing we need to create more facility for devotees to live the Krishna consciousness philosophy in a more sustainable and long-term way, rather than just serving in the ashram for a short amount of time and then kind of, breaking free of that association and having to mingle in the karmi world. It can be quite dangerous. So Prabhupada wanted us to create these Vrindavan villages where devotees can live simple lives, live off of the land, milk the cows, and ultimately save time for chanting Hare Krishna. So, yeah, it's interesting that Damodar Prasad Prabhu asked me to speak on this verse, the Atmarama explanation, because when we were just in New Vrajadam, Shiva Ram Maharaj was giving us his association, which was really, really special. And our temple president, Vishnu Chitta Prabhu, he gave class yesterday. He'll be giving the class also later on. So it's his causeless mercy upon us that he's brought myself and Suresh Prabhu here with him to Europe, and we're getting all this really wonderful association. We're visiting many different tirthas and temples and goshalas, and we're going to be in Europe for about 6 weeks, and we have about 5 weeks left to go. And our first week we were without our luggage, so it's been off to a rough start. But yeah, Shiva Ram Maharaj was telling us that he's very happy with our book distribution, and it's nice when you can please advanced devotees, because then you have a chance for staying alive in devotional service. Yeah, I was thinking about Atmarama, and when we met Shiva Ram Maharaj, I was actually saying that this great guru, this great spiritual leader, he's an Atmarama. He's totally self-satisfied. He doesn't need anything. And just being in his association is, yeah, it's amazing. He's such a towering figure. And you can see that he's following the instructions of his spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And this is exactly what Prabhupada wanted his followers to do, to go all over the world and preach the glories of Lord Chaitanya. And Maharaj is doing that in a country like Hungary, where previously, who knew about Hare Krishna? But now, due to Maharaj's purity and dedication to the Guru Parampara, the whole country has become this very powerful force of Krishna Bhakti in the West. And you can see with their Food for Life program, they're distributing 2,500 plates a day. There's devotees traveling around the country, distributing books and making devotees, brahmacharis, brahmacharinis. The restaurants are there. It's like, when you see these instructions and the vision of Srila Prabhupada manifesting, it's very, very pleasing. It gives one a lot of faith. So, yeah, the Chaitanya Charitamrita is like a jewel for the Vaishnavas. And even Srila Prabhupada, when he was on the Jaladuta coming to Boston, leaving, sailing over the ocean, Prabhupada was finding solace in the purports of, Prabhupada was, his only solace, Prabhupada was writing that he was finding in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, because he was being tossed amidst the ocean on the waves. And yeah, Prabhupada came alone to America with just a trunk of books. He was the first one to distribute sets of Srimad Bhagavatam. And even Srila Prabhupada's guru, our Param Guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say that even if all the books were gone in the world, if somehow or other we were able to save the Chaitanya Charitamrita, then nothing would be lost. So, yeah, we should endeavor to really deeply imbibe the characteristics and qualities that are described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And yeah, there's a lot could be said about this section. Mahaprabhu is explaining this to Sanatana Goswami, but previously Lord Chaitanya was explaining this to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Mahaprabhu explained it to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in just 11 different ways. And now Sanatana Goswami is asking about it more, and so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes on to explain this verse in 64 different ways. So it just goes to show you that Krishna is unlimited. Sad Aishvarya Purna, that his beauty is unlimited, his knowledge is unlimited, his renunciation, like that, all these 6 opulences. And just this morning, I didn't have so much time to prepare for the class, but I was hearing Srila Prabhupada speak on this verse, and this is a verse found in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 7, text number 10. And Prabhupada is always trying to help us understand that Krishna is in the background. And Prabhupada was elaborating on this verse, the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Sanskrit is Tejo Vadi Mridam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisham Damna Swena Sadasta Nuhokam Satyam Param Dhimihi. This part about Tejo Vadi Mridam, that earth, water, fire, and air, and Prabhupada was explaining that this temple is also made out of these elements, the bricks and the water and the mortar, fire, like that. But Prabhupada was explaining that it's not just elements, it's not that just matter created everything. Krishna is behind his creation, and nothing in Krishna's creation is incomplete. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. That the Supreme Personality is perfect, He's complete, and even if we analyze different things in nature, like flowers, you can see how you can see Krishna's smile in his different aspects of creation. So yeah, Prabhupada was always trying to bash the scientists with their silly ideas that matter comes from matter. But the Vaishnava philosophy is that, life comes from life. To speak more about this Atmarama verse, I was hearing just recently that we should become addicted to the internal potency. And just the opposite would be attraction to the material energy, which brings about a lot of suffering and lamentation. And we can see there's so many people in the material world who are being pummeled by the material energy. So rather, the devotees of the Lord are always trying to lick up the honey that's on the lotus feet of the Lord. And that's where the real shelter is, actually. So we should become addicted to the internal potency. And by doing so, Krishna will become pleased. And just like it's elaborated in the Bhagavad Gita 10.10, Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. That when we serve Krishna with this priti, this feeling of love, pritipurvakam, he grants us, he bestows upon us this buddhi yogam, and he gives us the intelligence by which we can come closer to him. And ultimately, Krishna is more pleased when we are serving his servants. So, yeah, we should always be on guard to be submissive to the Vaishnavas, because they can reveal to us all of the secrets. And in the Nectar of Instruction by Srila Rupa Goswami, it's stated there, Dadati pratigrinati guyam akyati prachiti bhunkte bojayate chaiva shadvidham pritilakshanam. This guyam, this very confidential exchange that occurs between two devotees that love each other and trust one another, then that that feeling of relationship can develop. And when we interact with this feeling of guyam in regards to the holy name, in regards to the deity, in regards to the devotees, we can start to see how Krishna is actually making all of the arrangements for our spiritual advancement. In the purport that we were reading, Prabhupada was describing Lord Vamanadev, how he's famous for just asking for 3 steps of land and crossing over the whole material creation with just 1 step. And the last step was put on his head. So, interesting enough, this word urukrama means one whose activities are very great. And in the translation to this verse that's found in the Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, Text 10, Prabhupada translates this word urukrame as the great adventurer. And I thought that was really nice. Krishna is the greatest of all. And when we follow him, we can assure that our lives will be very blissful. Just like there's certain vows that initiated devotees follow, no meat eating, and the substitute for that is Krishna Prasadam. And there's no gambling, but the substitute for that is surrendering one's life to Krishna. And we can see that in the lives of devotees like Shyamasundar Prabhu. He was, chasing rhinos with the Swami. And if we surrender to Krishna, we'll never be the loser. In fact, actually, we'll gain great satisfaction and bliss. A little bit about Sanatan Goswami. We are followers of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, and they were very expert at scrutinizingly studying the revealed scriptures for the benefit of all living beings. And if one wants to become a follower of Rupa Goswami, it is advised to read his books and also distribute his books, because this is what Srila Prabhupada's mission is all about. Prabhupada could have just stayed in Vrindavan and just begged for some chapatis, but he was always meditating on the order of his Guru Maharaj. And we see that in the volume of Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, A Lifetime of Preparation, that by Satsvarup Maharaj. Prabhupada was never separated from his Guru Maharaj, and in fact, he he gave great pleasure to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. In fact, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said about Srila Prabhupada that in due course of time that he would do everything, actually. But some of his godbrothers were seeing him as a so-called rotten grihasta. Prabhupada was never in separation from his Guru Maharaj, although they only met each other a few times. Prabhupada had his relationship with his spiritual master was very thick. So we're advised to become Rupa Nugas, and the 6 Goswamis were pouring upon the conditioned souls the glories about Govinda. And if we want to experience the joy that the 6 Goswamis were relishing, we can simply walk out of the temple and go on Sankirtan, carry a bag of books and carry some mantra cards and invite people to the Sunday feast. And when you see them, give them a nice plate of prasadam and just be their friend. There's a devotee in America named Brigupati Prabhu, and he's the longest standing Sankirtan devotee in the Krishna consciousness movement. And he's been hitting the parking lots and the universities for the past 50 years, over 50 years. And one of his secrets, which is well known, is he goes everywhere with these prayers by Srila Srinivasacharya, the Sadgoswami Astakam. So he's always meditating on the six Goswamis, Vande Rupa Sanatana Raja Yugo Sri Jiva Gopalago. So everywhere he goes, he just meets ordinary people and he distributes, I think he's distributed a million books, right? More than 1 million books.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 million.
Yeah, and he's still going strong. And he's in his late 70s, and he's just going out to parking lots, shopping malls with a cart full of boxes with Prabhupada's books. And actually, if you see him, he actually looks like one of the Goswamis. It's pretty far out. But he comes to our temple. He lives in California. We're in Atlanta, so he's on the West Coast, we're on the East Coast. But he sometimes comes and gives us his association. And devotee association is very valuable. It's said that there are 3 things which are very potent: the dust, the feet of the devotee, the remnants of the devotee, the prasadam, and then there's the water that has bathed the lotus feet of a devotee. So if one is fortunate enough to come in contact with such substances, then you can be sure that their Bhakti Lata Bij will be protected. And this is also enunciated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter. Shru Shru Shro Shadadanasya Vasudevi Kataruchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. That by rendering service unto great souls, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. But in the material world, everyone has affinity for the radio, for the television, for cinema songs. And those sorts of attachment won't bring about the desired goal, the paramgati. So rather we should direct our attention towards the mahats, mahat sevam, dwara mahor vimuktes. By serving the Vaishnavas, the door to liberation can be opened. Because there's no end to the list of material enjoyments, nor can anyone in the material universe have all of them. So, material enjoyment is like pouring ghee on a fire. It just burns and burns and burns. And in the Bhagavad Gita, there's a verse, Avritam Jnanam Etena Jnanino Nityavaidina. Can't remember the rest of the Sanskrit, but it's basically explaining that the eternal enemy of the living entity is lust. And this lust simply burns and burns like fire. And the only way to distinguish it is, like we sing every morning, Samsara Davana Lalita Loka Tranaya Kardunya Ganaganatam. We actually need a whole cloud of mercy to descend, because the material world is like blazing. There's a whole fire just taking over. And it's not that we can just go with some buckets. We need a whole cloud. And the spiritual master is the representative of that cloud, because he imbibes so many wonderful qualities. And for a sadhaka, a aspiring devotee, one should always hold the instructions of the spiritual master very, very close to one's heart. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also glorified as the Sattva Samhitam, which is found in this segment of verses in this 7th chapter, where this original verse is found. Vyasadeva is explaining that the material miseries of the living entities can be mitigated by directly engaging in the process of bhakti yoga. And Srila Vyasadeva, there are many varieties of Vedic literature, and their meanings are varied, but the sages of Naimisharanya gathered together in order to simply give us the essence, Yayatma Suprasiditi. They were asking Sutta Goswami, please tell us that which can give complete satisfaction to the soul. And even Vyasadeva himself, he compiled all these different literatures, and he said, well, Guru Maharaj, I feel unsatisfied. And Narada Muni said, well, actually it's because you didn't touch on the real thing. You didn't speak about devotional service. So, yeah. We should be willing to accept chastisements and corrections from our gurus and devotees who care about us. Right now I'm studying this book by Japataka Maharaj, Vaishnava K. It's a work done by Srila Saraswati, Srila Bhaktisanta Saraswati Thakur, and then there's some descriptions given by Srila Prabhupada, and then Japataka Maharaj is giving his commentary. And I just started the book. It's quite amazing, actually, but it's very important. One of the principles that's being elaborated on is that we should always desire to stay in the association of devotees. And because the devotees are very dear to Krishna, but the material mind may want to pursue different desires. And you can say, well, because I'm in the association of devotees, I can't fulfill that material desire, I can't fulfill that material desire. So the mind may say, well, let me just leave the association of the devotees altogether so I can fulfill these these unnecessary desires. So the book is basically guarding against one's own mind to not become dissuaded by all the by all the recommendations of the material mind. Because if one isn't humble and if one isn't submissive, then we can make offenses and be banished or kicked out of the association of the devotees. So we should always be very, Trinata Pisunichena, we should wear that verse around our necks so that the devotees are always pleased. And this is also described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Veda Tvam Somyatat Sarvam Tatvatas Tad Anugrahat Bruya Snigdasya Shishyasya Guravo Guyam Apyata. The devotees are glorifying Sutta Goswami, saying that because you are gentle, Somya, and because you are submissive, your spiritual masters have endowed you with all the favors bestowed upon a gentle disciple, and therefore you should tell us all that you have scientifically learned from them. Srila Prabhupada endeavored so much to give us the complete science of Krishna consciousness, and as his followers we should make adjustments in our lives so we can really understand the message that he was trying to give us, this Gauravani. And not only should we read his books, but we should make the effort to distribute them far and wide, like these devotees from Hungary are doing. They're traveling across Switzerland, visiting various cities and villages and meeting people on the streets and saying, my dear sir, you are very learned, but please give up all your hogwash and just surrender to Lord Chaitanya. This is the mood of Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, and Srila Prabhupada will quote this verse often, that Dante Tridayam Dudikam, that I should go before you with a straw between my teeth, begging you. You basically, you know everything. Like we tell people in America, it's like, wow, bro, I love your hairstyle. People just want to be glorified. But that's I've found the best way to distribute books is just to make friends with the person, and give them the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. But Prabhupada also stressed over and over and over again that his books were not just for distributing. He gave this instruction to his disciples that he told them in person. There was an incident where there was a traveling party in America at the time, and the devotees came to Srila Prabhupada and they were announcing the scores, the book distribution scores, and Prabhupada was just listening and he nodded his head. He said, okay. And the devotees were doing really great, during the 70s. And Prabhupada was just listening very intently. And the temple president was telling Prabhupada the scores. And Prabhupada told them that I have not written these books just for distributing. I've written these books for you to become pure devotees and to go back home, back to Godhead. So, yeah, we should dedicate our lives to the narrations of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Yes, it's such a beautiful temple. I feel very blessed to be in the association of all the devotees here. Yeah, we should chant good rounds and always be on guard against sadhu ninda, offenses to the devotees. This hati mata, which is described in the Nectar of Instruction, the mad elephant offense. The mad elephant will trample through the garden and destroy the gentle flowers that are there. So, yeah, we should always be respectful. This is the jewel, the decorations of a sadhu. They're decorated with all these different qualities. Yeah, there's many different ways to look at this Atmarama verse. And one of the words that is described there is this word hari. And the hari is one who takes away anything inauspicious for the devotee. But ultimately he attracts the mind of the devotee, and he takes away everything, and even his wealth and even his family. And at the very end, the devotee is just desirous of Krishna. And we can see that even in the life of Srila Prabhupada. When Prabhupada took sannyas, he was walking through the streets, and all of a sudden a bull came and reared him in the ribs. And Prabhupada fell on the ground. He says, "What is this? I've just taken sannyas." You know, there's going to be so many difficulties on the path. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that they'll be covered in many different thorns, and yeah, we should be ardent at seeking shelter of advanced devotees rather than trying to adjust certain things ourselves and say, I can figure it out. Rather, when we are experiencing challenges, we should fall at the feet of the Vaishnavas and say, please help me. Please help me, I need your mercy, just like we pray every morning, Haha Prabhu Korodoya Deho More Padachaya. Please give me the shade. Please give me the shade. Please give me the shelter of your lotus feet. Yeah, it's really our only hope, because our family's not going to help us, the materialists aren't going to help us, the karmis, they don't give a damn about you. And even if you're some great kirtaniya, or you're some great cook, or you're some great scholar, if you go out on the streets to distribute books, they don't give a damn. They don't know who you are. They don't want your, they don't, yeah. We should take shelter of the association of devotees. That's the main thing. It's the very beginning of our Krishna consciousness, and at the very end, it's necessary. So it's throughout our lives, this sadhu sangha. One more verse I'll quote, and I think you guys end at 8:30. So this is a very nice verse, also found in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi Lila, chapter 2, text 117, a very famous verse. Siddhanta boliye chitte na kara alas, iha hoite Krishna lage surida manas. Does anyone know this verse? Is it ringing any bells? Or okay, we can all memorize it together. It's a verse I've been wanting to learn. Translation: a sincere student should not neglect the discussion of such conclusions, considering them controversial, for such discussions strengthen the mind. Thus, one's mind becomes attached to Krishna. So yeah, when I was listening to Prabhupada speak on this verse today, Prabhupada was quoting this verse that Siddhanta boliya chitte na kara alas, that we shouldn't be lazy in understanding the Siddhanta, because we can't have Bhakti Vedanta without Bhakti Siddhanta, and we can't have Bhakti Vinod without Bhakti Siddhanta. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, the Bhaktivinoda, the joy that's experienced, the Vinoda, we can't experience that joy if our conclusions, if our Siddhanta is incorrect. And Prabhupada was given this title, Bhaktivedanta, by his illustrious spiritual master, so we should be firm in understanding the conclusions of the Vedic literature. So, I didn't really have so much to say, but I guess one last thing I'll mention. I heard my spiritual master speaking about recently that Krishna consciousness is the path of grace. It's not the path of our own endeavor, but we should always rely on the kripa sindhu, the mercy that comes from the devotees. It's really our as Narottama Das Thakur praised it's the fivefold. It's actually his food stuff. It's his main substance. It's how he's carrying out his whole spiritual life is by the mercy of devotees. And we sang this bhajan this morning by Narottama Das Thakur. What a great acharya! I mean, there's so many prayers and songs, and So, anyways, I'll end the class there. If there are any comments or questions, or we can open up for discussion. Yes, Ekachakra Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Can you please share about book distribution? How you usually do this? What you say to people, and what is important to know while distributing books? Like what is like your realizations or what you have been told to?
Yeah. I joined the Krishna consciousness movement from book distribution. I was 18 years old, and I was with my older brother. I was at a music festival, and someone came and just slapped some books in our hands. I said, "Oh wow, what is this?" And I reached in my pocket. I had some Lakshmi, whatever money I had in my pocket. I gave it to the devotee. I said, "Oh," I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what the book was, but I knew something was changing in my life. So, I became attracted to the Krishna consciousness movement through Prabhupada's books, and then once you're in the association of devotees, I mean, they just force you to go out and Sankirtan. So I was traveling in America, living in vans and zigzagging across the country, going to universities and all different places, going to events and sneaking into different places and just having fun. It's stated that the Panchatattva, they plundered the storehouse of love of God, and the more they distributed the contents, the more it increased. So, basically, one thing I've learned from my short time of book distribution is that it actually helps you become a friend to people, because in the material world, everyone is being smashed by the threefold miseries, but devotees are very kind. So I've learned to just be we should exercise the instructions that Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita. You should be a kind friend to every living being. So we say many different things when we meet people, but we usually just glorify them. That's the best thing. You can offer many different compliments, and the Matajis, you can say something about their hair, and the men, you can say, "Oh, bro, do you work out a lot? Do you have a good diet? Or you must exercise a lot?" Or I found that if you try to explain the philosophy to someone who's not really so philosophically inclined or open to receive, it can be a little jarring, But if you just compliment, yesterday we went out, we were by the lake, and there's these two, we call them homies. They're just guys sitting there, and they're all dressed up with glasses, and they were basically getting intoxicated. And then later on, they were going to go dancing in the clubs. So they were sitting on the bench, and they had all these different cups, and they were drinking. What time was that? It was 5 o'clock? Yeah. And anyways, I walked up to them. I was like, no way are these people going to want to talk to me, I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, there's many different religions, and I really respect all the different, paths that they follow. But he's like, but when I'm doing this, I'm drinking right now and this and that. He's like, I don't want to talk to a religious person. And I was like, man, okay, how can I show this guy some mercy, you know? And his friend was like rolling like a cigarette, and they're just like surrounded by like all this like sinful activity. I was like, oh man, like, but somehow or other I was just like trying to be cool with them. I was just trying to be their friend, and I was like, okay, you know, take a book, you know, take an invitation, and anyways, they weren't really willing to accept a book because they're like, oh, I'm just going to lose it, you know, I'm going to be out all night in the streets. But anyways, I somehow managed to keep speaking with them, and the fellow gave 10 euros on his phone as a donation, and because I could have basically just like tried to like pound him with like the Bhagavad Gita or something, but I just kind of continued to like connect with them in like a personal way. And he was like, okay, man, yeah, like I want to give you some. And then his friend was like, you know what, give him 5 from me too, you know. So yeah, and then I gave him a small book and he took it, so that was good. But yeah, book distribution is great, and it's the best way to please the acharyas. I mean, Srila Prabhupada spoke many different things when he visited different temples, and when he visited certain projects, Prabhupada would say, deity worship is the most important. And he would go to another temple and he'd say, prasadam distribution is the most important. And the way Srila Prabhupada looked at it, which whatever activity that he was dealing with at the present moment, that was actually the most important activity of the Krishna consciousness movement. So yeah, book distribution is very pleasing to Srila Prabhupada, and that's stated in the Bhagavad Gita itself. Krishna says, no one is more dear to me than one who shares this message. But another story I'll share, and it happened in Atlanta, actually, the temple that I serve at currently. Prabhupada was there, and the Radha Damodar party was there, all the sannyasis were there, all of his big leaders were there, and they were sitting close to Srila Prabhupada, and they said, you know, Srila Prabhupada, you know, what pleases you most, you know? And of course they're Sankirtan devotees, so they were saying, like, you know, like expecting Prabhupada to say like, yeah, book distribution pleases me, you know? And Prabhupada always knew what to say, but the devotees, when you hear these different memories of Prabhupada's disciples, you can never really guess, you know, the thoughts and words and actions of a pure devotee. But yeah, Prabhupada was explaining that if you become a lover of Krishna, then that's actually what pleases me most. So yeah, book distribution is great, and we should expand that and keep expanding it, because Prabhupada said he wanted every respectable man and woman to have a set of Srimad Bhagavatam in their homes. And yeah, right now, most people, they have a TV in every room of their home, but we say you should have a set of Srimad Bhagavatam set in every room of your home. So yeah, book distribution is great, and if you don't have a taste for it, you can just spend some time, rub your shoulders with the Sankirtan devotees, and just learn from them. But yeah, the best way I've found to distribute books is just be a kind friend. And by doing it over time, after many years, you kind of get different, Krishna gives you different instructions and realizations and ways to connect with people. And yeah, that's the mission of the Krishna consciousness movement. Sarva Sukhino Bhavantu. That Prabhupada always say this. We want to see the whole world happy. So happiness only comes when we're following Krishna's instructions. So yeah. Are there any other questions or comments? If not, then we'll end here. Oh, Mataji, you have a question?
Thank you so much for your lecture and your insights. So the point that you made, that Srila Prabhupada wants us to study these books, not only distribute them, but study them to become a pure devotee and to go back home, back to Godhead. It was kind of touching me very much, because I like the books and I like to read, but somehow it's not happening the way I want. And could you maybe tell us how to approach the book and how to really develop this mood of, yeah, I really want to change my heart with these words?
Yeah, this word is found in the Shastra lolium, greed. One should have intense greed. So, yeah, we should be very greedy to study the books of His Divine Grace. And even we were just sitting with Shivaram Maharaj and Niranjan Swami, very elevated sannyasis and spiritual masters. And Niranjan Maharaj was making this point that, you know, in the early days, devotees would have to hide and read because there was so much service for the mission of the spiritual master that they weren't really able to carve out time to make a practical application in their sadhana. So, yeah, even the great Kadamba Kanana Swami, there's a statement that Maharaj made, which I could find. It's somewhere in my files on my phone. But Maharaj was explaining that, you know, the chanting of 16 rounds is required. We make that vow at the time of initiation. But Maharaj was basically explaining that we should also make a vow of reading like Prabhupada's books every day for an hour, you know, according to our situation, our service. Because Maharaj was explaining that if we don't make that endeavor, then Maharaj said that over time we'll just kind of like fizzle off and then, you know, have to take birth again in the material world. And yeah, it's, I mean, Prabhupada was up late at night sacrificing his sleep to give us his purports, you know. It's like, yeah, we should at least, my spiritual master, His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, he says that the amount of effort that Prabhupada gave to writing his books, we should try to have like a modicum, like even a little drop of same effort in the studying of Prabhupada's books. So, yeah, to the law books for the next 10,000 years, we should be like lawyers. And when we come in the association of devotees, that should be the core of our relationships, is actually the words of the acharyas and the spiritual master, and our relationships will actually flourish when the shastra and the guru and the sadhus are in the center. Otherwise, the default setting of the material mind is just, you know, gossip and village talk and these different things that just don't uplift the mind or the spirit. What is that verse in the Bhagavad Gita? One of the nutshell verses, it describes how the devotees get great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. It's in the 10th chapter, but yeah. One practical thing you could do is Prabhupada gave this instruction. He said that he wanted his students to cram Bhagavad Gita. So if you don't have a taste for it, just cram basically means to, like, you know, when you're in university or you're in school and you're just like trying to get as much of the information in as possible. Yeah, it's a statement Prabhupada writes in a letter. He wants all of his students to cram Bhagavad Gita. So like, yeah, just like, you know, work really hard to, you know, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kori Akya, that you should make the instructions of the spiritual master, you should make them one with your heart. And all of Prabhupada's instructions are found in his purports. So if we are aspiring to rise up from the neophyte platform, then we have to very seriously study Srila Prabhupada's books. Hare Krishna. Mataji.
I was wondering about the book distribution. I have one question about that.
Sure.
I saw on internet that, I mean, obviously your temple is very famous for book distribution, yeah.
You're from Trinidad?
Sorry?
You're from Trinidad?
No, I'm from India. I live in Slovenia, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we are also distributing a lot of books there.
Good.
But the thing is, we are not doing the Bhagavatam sets as such, like you guys are doing, right? We are more doing like Bhagavad Gita, and we also have sets with Krishna book, Bhagavad Gita, teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and one maybe like cookbook. So it's like a set, yeah.
Sure.
So we are not doing the Bhagavatam sets yet. So I was just wondering, like, what's your approach when you approach people? What's your approach for Bhagavatam sets? Because it's not just like one book or like 3 books. It's quite a lot, right?
Yeah.
So what's your, approach for that?
One of the, there's 4 laws of book distribution, and one of the laws is the more you show, the more you sell. So Mahotsaha Prabhu, the famous Bhagavatam distributor, when he goes to these various conventions and meets so many different people, but one of the things he does is he'll just show them what's in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the set, one of his go-tos is he'll show them the Sanskrit pronunciation guide in the back of the books. And most people are very interested in learning that language. So he'll just basically show them the books, and depending on the person's level of perception, he'll either explain things that are directly found in the Srimad Bhagavatam, or he'll just tell them things that are totally random and just kind of far out. But yeah, there's no mathematical way you can do it, but the real thing that one needs is faith in the Guru. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Yasya Devi Para Bhaktir Yata Devi Tata Guru, that when one has implicit faith in both the spiritual master and in Krishna, then all the imports of Vedic knowledge are revealed to that person. So yeah, if you're making that endeavor in your temple, just keep trying, and Krishna will give you the intelligence to do so, because it's Prabhupada's order, and the words of the acharyas are infallible. So just keep trying, and you can always come visit us in Atlanta, come to America and see. This is our first time in Europe, so I've never been to Europe, but we wanted to come here to see what the devotees are doing, and like Prabhupada said, he wanted to create a whole, the movement, the whole world could live in. So yeah, it's good to visit various places and see and learn from devotees, and yeah, just keep trying. Yeah. It takes a lot of time. I think one of the book distributors in Atlanta, he'll approach dozens and dozens of people before someone actually takes a Bhagavatam set. So it's a lot of work. You have to have determination and not become bewildered when the books aren't going out. But yeah, faith in Guru is the most important principle.
Can you say something?
Prabhu, please. Sure.
I remember one story in Poland, or someone told me, Maharaj, one of Maharaj, says that there was one devotee going to distribute books 1 week, and every day he goes, and then Maharaj asked him, how many books did you distribute? And he said that he distributed no one. No one. And Maharaj was like, wow, and every day you going and try? Yes, every day I go and try. 1 week he distributes no one books, but he keep going, so yes, very motivated to.
Yeah, Prabhupada would quote his spiritual master, that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that even if my disciples go out and they just distribute a few of these pamphlets, then he would be very pleased. But we should always endeavor to increase that, to increase that ocean of love of God. So yeah, distributing lots of books is good too. But even if you just meet, some person and you have a nice interaction with them, and they get even a Bhagavad Gita, they come to the temple, it's, you don't want to focus too much on the externals, but measuring, if you measure things, then they can get improved, which is good. But yeah, be a bright moon rather than a shooting star. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
It's a big high risk, high reward situation because if you feel like when you do that same thing, it's a luxury. If you show the whole body time and be loaded, then they're not taking it on. And then you go to the whole couple clothes, and then find people who they seem to want to take body time. So you have to have that. Do you really want to do body time? Go all in. We need to work out something. He's like the nicest preacher, most of us like tag his bag, like he like talks to them really like man from like he makes good friends, he's like really nice relationships. So he's in the last marathon he really I think he was like third international. He's moving to first class as well.
It's good to see the doctors. I saw the video of you and Mara in the pool. I was super ecstatic.
Yeah, that was that's awesome.
I'm impressed. I mean, 75 years old and not just like swimming 12 kilometers. It's just like,
You're the one who practices with him often? Yeah.
You live in Budapest? Nice. We're going to be there on Monday, right?
Yeah, just that night, right? We'll be super.
You guys have a van?
No, there's
Oh, a car.
Yeah.
Where do you guys sleep? Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, it's safer to.
That's what we're doing that now. We have the van, but we're actually getting away from the van. We're just gonna get like a vehicle that can haul like a truck.
Yeah.
But then we'll just buy it ourselves. Stay for the van's like, especially in the summer, really like austere, sweating, super hot, and you gotta wake up early and stuff like that. All those just like.
Army, it's like you're in the army.
Yeah, there's you could be like, you can use like drugs or like, but as far as like actually sustaining the company, overwhelming.
Yeah, I guess what's the big thing more
Yeah.
like not much and it's also
Yeah.
definitely where most of them
Yeah.
you haven't seen some of the biggest thing about that discussion is that probably sort of go home one night.
Yeah.